Hello everyone, and welcome to the Blueprint for Amazing Career Success. My name is Benjamin, and in today's video we shall be discussing the 8 laws of content creation. What is content, you may ask? Content in this context refers to ideas expressed or contained in a piece of writing, a speech, or a video clip, as the case may be. In today's information age, there is increasing demand for content creation to be presented on various platforms across the globe. Content is required offline and online. Whether you are talking of content to be presented on the print media or on the electronic media, there is content required for television, on radio, for newspapers, for magazine, for the social media, for websites online, the YouTube, name it. So it has become imperative that we critically examine the qualities expected of good content, so that for whatever platform you are creating content, you will ensure that this content meets the required standard. So that is exactly what we are talking about today. But don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel so that when next a video is uploaded, you will be promptly notified. Let's get started with today's video. 8 laws of content creation. And of course, this video is centered around an ebook that I have published on Amazon.com, which is entitled The Blueprint for Amazing Career Success. You may be interested in having the complete ebook, and if you do, you can grab a copy on Amazon.com. Of course, you can write me via my email address, benjamininfo33@gmail.com. If you write requesting for a copy of this book, of course, I will send you a link that you can use to access the bookshelf on Amazon.com in order to get a copy. Of course, there you will see other books that I have published that you may also like to pick. If you want to get a copy of this book directly from me here in Nigeria and pay in local currency, you only have to pay a token price of 2,000 naira, and I will send the copy of the ebook right into your email box, so you can download it in your handset, your laptop, iPad, or any electronic device that you are using. Of course, it's downloadable because it's an electronic copy. Having said this, let's get started with details of today's discussion. Let's have a quick rundown of the 8 laws. Number 1 is audience appeal. Number 2, originality and credibility. Number 3, focus on a definite purpose. 4, organization and coherence. 5, development. 6, clarity of expression. 7, grammatical correctness. And 8, political correctness. Now let's take this one by one. Audience appeal. If you are creating content, the first thing you must consider is the interest of the audience. The audience, of course, are the people who are going to consume your content. If you are creating content for the print media, your audience are the readers who will read what you have written there, whether it's a book or an article, whatever it is. If you are creating content for the electronic media, if it is the television or the YouTube, of course, it is the viewers who are going to watch what you have presented there. And so it is on all other media and platforms. So you must consider the interests of the audience, what they want, because if you are presenting a product to the marketplace, of course you are presenting a product because people will be in need of that product. It doesn't make sense to present a product that will not meet anybody's need, that will not solve anybody's problem, that will not satisfy anybody's interest or aspiration, or fulfill anybody's curiosity. I mean, if nobody is interested in it, you have only wasted time producing it, and it's a waste of time, energy, and resources. You wouldn't want that kind of content. So the first thing is audience awareness. You must be aware of the interest of your audience, because in economics, it is the demand that determines the supply. If you supply and there is no demand, of course, a loss will be sustained. So audience appeal is critical to success in content creation. Considering what the audience wants is imperative. That's exactly one of the laws of content creation. Number two, originality and credibility. We are saying that your content must be unique, must be original, must be created by you. Because when you are the originator of the ideas you are creating as content, of course, you will make the idea flow naturally, just as water flows from its natural source. And it is different from when someone will simply cuts and pastes other people's ideas. And most of the time, those who cut and paste may not know the purpose, the original purpose of the inventor of the idea. So they will not be able to handle it naturally the way the original author or creator could have done. So when your content has originality, it elicits authenticity. It becomes authentic, because even the way the idea will be handled, the way you handle the thematic preoccupation and the way you express the ideas will connect with the audience, and that makes the whole thing very credible. When it has authenticity, then of course it also elicits authority, because when you are handling the ideas that constitute your brainchild, which you invented, of course you do it authoritatively without any fear of contradiction, and you have the moral courage and the confidence to project these ideas, because you are doing so without violating any copyright rules. So you have freedom of projecting these in any platform, and that actually also increases your passion of handling the content, and this connects with the audience, and in their view your content has credibility, because the evidence is in the mode of delivery. And that is exactly why originality and credibility are central to success in content creation. Let's look at the third one: focus on a definite purpose. Now, there must be a definite purpose, and your content must focus on this definite purpose. Your content should not be disconnected and should not be pieces of disconnected ideas here and there. Your content should not be jack of all trade and master of none. It should be focused on a central point, and it should convey a central message. It's like the lens of a camera. If you want to take a good photograph or produce a video clip, your camera must be focused on the desired image in order to capture it in its full beauty and splendor. If you are handling your camera and you are recklessly turning it round and round all over the environment, you may succeed in capturing many images, but you have not succeeded in capturing one major image of interest in particular. So in content creation, you should not bite more than you can chew. You should focus on the big picture. You should have a purpose. And when you have a purpose, then you have a sense of direction in your content creation. And of course, your audience, it will connect with your audience who will follow the flow of your ideas because there is a sense of direction. So that is exactly what focus does in content creation. Your content must have focus. It must focus on a definite purpose. Now, number 4 is organization and coherence. In this case, we are saying that a good content should be well organized. The ideas expressed should be logically organized, well connected, interrelated, and then they should stick together and flow naturally to project a central message. Your content should have a definite structure, just like a building. Before you build a good house, you plan it. And of course, in your building plan, you spell out the various parts of the house and how all of them should be put together to form a complete house. That is how it is with good content. The various parts should be put together in a very logical manner. Because when you construct the house, the foundation, the walls, the roof, the doors, the windows, they are various parts, but they are all related and they stick together to form one house. That's how a good message should be. It should be coherent because it is organized. That is exactly the way good content is created. Now let's look at number 5, which is development. Development has to do with making sure that the ideas expressed in the content are well developed. Because like the analogy of the house, it doesn't make sense to lay a foundation and just leave it like that. It will not make a complete house. When you lay a foundation, you need to develop it, develop the walls to the lintel stage, to the roofing stage, then construct the roof, put the doors, the windows, the ceiling, all parts of the house should be completed. And when all the various parts are added, you have a complete house. That's how good content is. It should be complete. The ideas should be complete. The message should be driven home to a logical conclusion. Take for instance, if you raise an issue in your paragraph, you shouldn't leave it like that. If you raise an argument, you should back it up with evidence. If you present an idea, you should support it with examples, with illustrations, with supporting details. That is what we mean by development, because every house that is laid as a foundation is developed to completion, so it becomes a complete house. Your content should be developed so that it will convey complete meaning and complete message. That is good content. Number 6 is clarity of expression. In clarity of expression, we are saying that the message that you are presenting to the audience should be crystal clear and should leave no room for ambiguity. And this has to do with the appropriateness of the use of language. The language you use should be appropriate to the subject you are discussing. If you are discussing sports, for instance, it doesn't make sense to use the language of religion, because every field of human activity and every discipline has its own language unique to it. If you are talking about agriculture and that is your subject matter, of course you should use the vocabulary of agriculture. You cannot be discussing the subject matter of science and technology and you are using words associated with arts. This is what we call register. And according to a notable English scholar by name Jonathan Swift, register can be described as putting proper words in proper places. So we are saying that in content creation, you should put proper words in proper places. The language used and the tone of the language will be determined by the type of content, the form of content, the audience, and the occasion and the purpose. Take for instance, if you are presenting a speech, the kind of speech, the tone, and the language use of a speech you will present on the occasion of a convocation or a graduation ceremony or a farewell party will not be the same with the kind of speech, the choice of word, the tone, and the language used in the speech you will deliver on the event of a funeral, when someone has died and people have come together to bury the deceased. They cannot be the same. Similarly, the tone and the standard of language used in an informal letter will be different from the tone and the language of the letter you are writing formally. If you are writing a formal letter, say to the president of your country, you cannot be using the same language and tone as you would have used if you were writing to your classmates. So, appropriate use of language. And the bottom line in terms of clarity of expression is that whatever ideas you are expressing in your content should be conveyed in very clear, precise, and language that is accessible to your target audience. This is very, very important. Now let's take the next one, number 7, which is grammatical correctness. Again, your content should use grammatically correct language if you are presenting content, to an audience that is enlightened, an audience, for instance, that is an elitist audience. Well, if you are presenting, content to certain audience, if your target audience comprises of people who, for instance, use pidgin, of course you could use pidgin. So it differs according to the audience and also the occasion and the purpose and the platform, of course. So that's exactly what it is. But we are saying that content that is to be considered good and proper should use grammatically correct language. The sentences should be grammatically correct in order to convey complete meaning. And the use of language should conform with the rules of correctness in whatever language you are using for the creation of that content. Correctness of rules of correctness in this sense refers to grammatical concord. It refers to the correct use of tenses. It doesn't make sense to be reporting a past event and be using the present tense of the verb. It doesn't really make sense. So you will be breaking the rule of tense harmony if you do that. Again, the spelling of words should be correct. If your content is full of spelling errors, of course it can mar your content, because your audience might think that you are not knowledgeable about the content you are presenting, and that will reduce from the value. The premium the audience will place on it will be reduced. Again, accurate use of punctuation marks and capitalization, because when you start a sentence with a small letter and in the middle you use a gigantic capital letter that is out of place, of course your audience might think that what you have presented is substandard. So how do you achieve grammatical correctness? Ensure that you cross-check whatever content you have created, so that you will correct whatever mechanical errors may have been committed in that content, so that you will present content that is grammatically correct. Now, the last but not the least, which is number 8, political correctness. When the word politics is mentioned, what comes to mind readily in the minds of majority of people is dirty game, rigging, malpractice, all kinds of wrongdoings. Ironically, when we are talking of political correctness, we are talking about fairness, decency. We are talking about the polite use of your expressions in such a manner that you do not offend the sensibilities of a section of your audience. Your content should be free from bias. There should be no gender bias, because if you decide to antagonize a particular gender, of course your audience will consist of both male and female gender, and you cannot also allow your content to be marred by religious bias. Your content should be completely free from religious fanaticism, because your audience will come from various religious backgrounds, and your content is meant for your audience. So why should you antagonize them and offend their sensibilities when that is really not your purpose? So you need to be politically correct. Your content should be free from racism, because people from different races will make up your audience. You cannot demonize the white race or the black race or antagonize the red Indians in your content. Your content should be free from all kinds of racism, all kinds of ethnicity, and that is exactly what it means to ensure that your content meets with the criterion of political correctness. So this is how it has been in today's video. We have been discussing 8 laws of content creation. I just want to thank you for watching today's video. Thank you for your time. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Of course, you have seen that you won't have to miss a new upload. So the essence of subscribing is to ensure that whenever we upload a new video, you will be promptly notified and you will have access to it. Again, remember the ebook I talked about, The Blueprint for Amazing Career Success. You can write to me via my email address, which is benjamininfo33@gmail.com, requesting for a copy of the Blueprint for amazing career success. That book will give you greater, more profound insight into all that we have been talking about. The startling revelations in that book will open your eyes, so to say. I have been receiving different positive comments from people who have benefited from the book. So if you are interested in it, please don't forget to write to me using my email address. Once you write, if you want to pick a copy here in Nigeria and pay in local currency, you only need to pay a token fee of 2,000 naira, and I will send you a copy of the electronic copy of the book for your perusal and continuous benefit. Once again, I want to thank you. Keep learning, because learning is an essential part of life. And the day you stop learning is the day you start dying intellectually and even spiritually. I wish you well. See you in the next video. Stay safe and remain blessed. Bye bye for now.